I'm here today with a tutorial to make these flowers, and you only need a few simple supplies to work on these. So these are some that are like reds and pinks tones. I also made a few with some like blue and cream tones. And I'm going to show you today how to put them together. Very, very simple, just a few supplies, and let me go ahead and get started. So here's what I'm using to make the flowers. I am using some of these mixed color large pearl brads for the centers. And I'm using some of the beautiful, beautiful summer blooms from Wild Orchid Crafts. And I'll put the links below for these because you get a ton of petals for very inexpensive. It's $4.41, I believe, for the different sizes that they have. These may be a little bit more because they're so much larger, but for the small ones, it's $4.41. There's like a medium size that's $4.41, and then these are just a teeny bit more, but around $5. So I'll put the product codes below for that. So I have here, actually, they're all kind of mixed up, but I'm going to do a small flower and a large flower. So I have the large petals. I have about 6. You could do more on this one. I used 6. I'm sorry, I used 7 on this one, and then on this one I only used 5. So you can get different fullness of flowers based on how many petals you use. So I'm going to show you how I did one like this, and I'm going to use 6 petals. And then after that, I'll show you how I made that teeny one using the tiny petals. And this one I didn't put a center, but you could use their flat back pearl trim and just cut off little pearls and put a center. You could also use some of their berry spray clusters if you would prefer that. Like here, I just put a little teeny one in the middle, that way you could see how it looks. You could also add, you could put like a whole stem in the center there, and that would be really cute as well. So today I'm just going to show you how I did it though with the brad. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the brad ready. I actually just take the brad part off of it, and I just kind of bend them back and forth, and they pull off pretty easily. And so that way I have just kind of like a flat back embellishment. And I'm going to start today with my darkest color. I was starting here, I started with my lighter color, but I'm going to start with my darker color today and see how that looks. Now when you have your flower, you're going to see that the side with ridges is like the top, and then you'll see which one is the bottom clearly. I flip it so that the bottom is like on the inside, and that way the outside is what the top would normally be. It's the part with the ridges. So I'm gonna start by putting some hot glue, and that's really the only other supply you need is hot glue. And I'm gonna put it on one of the edges, 2 of the edges, so that I can kind of fold one petal under the other, and then I'll do the same there. The only reason I did 2 at a time is just to go faster. You could of course do 1 at a time. And then at this point, this is when I glue my embellishment in, because if you wait till the end, it's too hard to get it in there centered, at least for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue and just put my brad right here in the middle, because this is going to be the center of the flower. And if you were wanting to use the berry clusters, you could glue them in there as well, and that would be really cute. So I'm going to have to try that with my next one. So now I'm just going to continue forming the middle. Oh, it's not quite dry yet. Gotta wait for it to dry. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to fold that petal in. And then with the last petal, when you have the last petal, you're going to kind of put glue on both sides and glue the last petal on. Or you could put glue right on the petal, just on either side. And then that's going to kind of secure it closed. So there's the center of your flower. And this is the hardest one to do. It's not hard, but it's just the most tedious one to do, because you're gluing every little piece to make sure that it stays closed. Now then, I'm going to take another one of these colors, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add hot glue in the middle, and then a little on each petal. Almost like I'm making like a little star. And so I'm going to put that in the middle, and then what I'm going to do is fold up my petals and kind of form them to the middle one, so that they close around it. And because we've put a little bit of hot glue on each of the petals, they're going to stay just like that. And give it a few seconds to grab onto the other petals. And then you can kind of, pull them out a little, but they'll form on their own pretty well. The flowers are already shaped so perfectly that you don't have to do a lot. Okay, so now on this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do almost like a star of glue. And this time I'm probably not going to press up as close. I'm just going to press up the bottoms. Alright, so there we have that part. And now when I do these, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to start making the glue go up less and less, and I'll show you kind of what I mean. I'm going to do the middle, and then I'm just going to put just a little dab kind of at the beginning of the petal, not so far up the petal. I'm going to put that in the middle and just press it up. I don't want the tops of the petals glued because then I'm not going to have any kind of dimension to it. They're going to just be pressed real close, and I don't want that. I want them to kind of open up. And I haven't mentioned it, I'm sorry, but I've been trying to kind of alternate the petals a little and make them catty corner. So like this one, if I see the petals here, I'm not going to line it up directly to a petal. I'm going to offset it. So that's what I've been doing the whole time when I've been gluing them. So again, I'm going to flip that one over, and I'm going to add some to the middle, and then just a little dot on each of the bottoms of the petals. I'm going to make sure I offset them. And I'm just going to press up the middle. Okay, and there, you could stop right here, and you would have 5 petals. Now, here's where you can kind of make a choice. You can either do what you've been doing and make it just a little bit fuller, which is probably what I'm going to do. You could also flip it so that the front or the top is facing up and just glue it just like that. So now that you have a pretty flower in the background, and that's kind of what I did with that one. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and just do the same thing I've been doing, put glue on the bottom, offset the petals, push them up just a little bit. Because you have the glue kind of just on the right inside the petals, it's forming that nice little, rows there. They're not flat, they're going to be curved up because they're grabbing onto the next petal with that hot glue. So there you have the larger flower, very simple. The first one is the one where you have to just pay attention a little more to where you're putting the glue, and then after that, it's pretty simple to put together. And this is what it looks like with 6 petals as opposed to 5 petals. So I also like that it's a little bit fuller here, and you can still see the variegated color. Like you can see the dark pink, and then there's light pink in the back. You could make them any color you wanted. You could do all one color, or you could do 5 different colors. It's really up to you. That's why I like making these, because you can totally customize the colors that you want. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the smaller flowers, and the smaller flowers are super, super easy. This one I just put that little, the berry in the middle, but I'm going to show you how to make them with nothing in the middle, and then you can decide kind of if you want to put stuff in the middle or not. Alright, so for these I did use 5 petals, and again, just like the larger flower that I made, I have the medium pink and then the light pink. So I'm going to start with the darker in the center this time. And this one's a little trickier on how you do it. They're so small that if you tried to put glue on each part, it would burn your fingers. So I'm going to show you kind of how I get around that. And again, the top you can see has the perfect ridges, and it's formed really well. I'm going to flip it so that the inside is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to kind of form this how I think it would look nice, like that. Okay, and I'm going to hold that. And what I'm going to do now is put glue on this one. And notice I'm putting the glue on the bottom because that's where I want the middle to be. Or the middle to be. So now that I have my bud formed the way I want it, now I'm going to put it on this one, and I'm going to curve this one around it. And that's going to form my center, because you can't put glue on the edges like I did with the larger one. Well, you could, but you're probably going to burn your finger. So that's kind of a way to get around it and still form like a little bud in the center. Okay, so now I'm going to take another petal, same color. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue in the middle and then just a bit on the bottoms of the petals. And I am going to try to catty corner it as well and kind of alternate the petals. It's, you know, not as mandatory on this flower because you can't really tell as much, but it still gives it a nice dimension when you do it. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to take my lighter color and again flip it to the back. Same thing, kind of spreading out the glue on the edges a little, but not going all the way to the top. Curving the flower around. And then for the last one, again, you have that choice where you can kind of just put it with the regular side showing, or you can go in the same fashion you've been going, which is what I'm going to do. And then there you have it. So there's, here's one with 3 different colors. This one's actually the hot pink red and then the maroon. And then these are just the 2 different color pinks. And then here are the 2 different color blues. And this one I've squinched together a little bit more. As you can see, if you don't squinch as much, you can have more open petals. Also, you can kind of pull them open. Once the glue is completely dry, you can pull some of the petals down with your fingers to give it more of an open look. But there you have it. Really simple, easy to do. You only need a few supplies, your glue gun, you know, something to put in the center, which you could use these embellishments, which is what I used. You could also use these berry cluster sprays. They come in 6 different colors: red, purple, pink, gold, silver, and white, and you could use any of them. Really pretty. You could also use, and you also need the mixed blooms. You can get them in any size. I have them in the larger ones, the 1.75 inch, and then I have them in the smaller, the 0.85 inch. Like I said, $4.41 for these, about $5 for these, and then the medium ones are the same price. You get 100 flowers, different colors. You can kind of mix and match to customize your flowers for your projects using the high quality blooms from Wild Orchid Crafts. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'll do my best to respond. And now for a little hidden giveaway within my video. For those of you that are watching this on my channel, all you're going to need to do is comment below and I'll tell you what to comment. If you're watching this video on the Wild Orchid Crafts channel, you are going to need to comment on my video on my channel. Same video, so all you have to do is head over to my channel, which is Lavish Laces, and just comment on this video that you've watched, and you'll find it. It has, you know, it says flower tutorial, and it's the Wild Orchid Crafts DT project. Okay, so all you have to do is tell me what is your favorite flower from Wild Orchid Crafts, and I will choose a random winner in a week, and the random winner will get these flowers, maybe a few more if I make a few more, which I'm probably going to do today, and also just a small bag of some Wild Orchid Crafts flowers. Just a little small assortment, but just kind of like a sample pack. That way you can kind of test out some of their products if you haven't already. And if you have already, then great, there's more for your collection. So like I said, just tell me your favorite Wild Orchid Craft flower. And thanks guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.